CFCArts. We've had an incredible response sponsorship-wise this year, which is great. We haven't told you this yet, but we've had a couple of great meetings recently, one of which was with Orlando Health. We pitched a whole bunch of ideas and things to Orlando Health, hoping that they might just renew at the level they were at last year. After meeting with them, after explaining what we do and talking about things, they said, first, we'd like to have another meeting with you in April to talk about 2027, because we see an even bigger partnership in our future in 2027. We want to do more and more with you. But between now and then, we're going to double our investment in CFCArts. And we'd like to be the presenting sponsor for everything your orchestra does this year. And we said, thank you. So that either means they think we are the model of health, or they think we're the part of the organization that needs the most help. I'm not sure which one it is. But so we've had really good strides. But every year, about 50% of our budget is raised through grants, sponsorships, and individual donations. And those donations do make up hundreds of thousands of dollars of what it takes to do what we do. The great news is the United Arts Collaborative Campaign gives us an opportunity to knock out a giant chunk of that in this first kind of quarter of the year, which is lovely. And each donation ends up getting matched by about 15% between Orange County and United Arts and some other funds that we can unlock, which is really, really exciting. We've hit right around $100,000 raised already in this campaign, but our goal is 160. We have a bit to go. In the final 4.5, 5 weeks of this campaign, we are going to have a friendly competition between the orchestra and the choir. We did this last year. Last year, we had a very generous $10,000 gift put forward by David Green here in the cello section, who said, I got you, I'm gonna match you, orchestra, step up. If the rest of the orchestra can raise 10 grand to match me, we're good to go. You more than did your job. You raised 17 on top of David's 10 to give us 27 grand raised right here in the orchestra during the last month of the campaign, which is incredible. This year, David and an anonymous friend in the string section have gotten together and they've upped the ante to $15,000. That's what I'm talking about. So last year you raised 17, so this should still be easy. This is the equivalent of intentionally walking the mile in gym class at the beginning of the year so that when you run it at the end, you can easily surpass your time. Did anybody else have to do that, or is that a reference no one got? Okay, thank you. Was that only at North Allegheny? We went to the same high school, just several years apart. But yes, so the goal is 15. David, come on up here, since this is your second year kind of leading the charge for the orchestra. Give this man a round of applause. And briefly, challenge them. Tell them why you give, why you think it matters.
I'm not going to trust Justin with a microphone stand over here now, after I see what he does. I just wanted to take a second to talk about why I give and what this means to me. I've been in this orchestra since 2017 now, and I've honestly only started giving 3 years ago, I think. And really why I started was, I lost my job. And I went, when I get this new job, I'm going to donate something. And that's actually how that started that first year. And for a lot of us, orchestra is just a place to play music. Everybody, me included, I joined this orchestra because I studied in college, and then I didn't play for a couple years and I wanted to get back. But over the years, the one thing I've noticed is the sense of community that we get. And for some of the new people, they might not notice. In a group this size, there's somebody in this room right now who uses this orchestra as their escape. Whether it's from troubles at home, just having to get away from the kid for the weekend. Somebody raised their hand over here, yes. All these stories are a thing. I'm not going to call anybody out by name. Maybe if you lose somebody in your family, you lose a pet. I mean, I've heard so many stories of people having a difficult time, medical, everything. And the Sunday afternoon is their favorite time of the week to get out, escape, be around people that just want to create music. And everybody doesn't always have the time to play, or even always want to play. But the fact that you're coming in and using this as escape, and even if you don't have an instrument, you can sit in and not play. I don't think anybody is going to say no to that if you're a part of this community. If you're like, I don't feel like playing, or my instrument's broken, Justin will give you a chair up here, or in the back corner, whichever you're more comfortable. That's getting dangerous now. More people don't need a baton. But in the end, so many people use this for different reasons. And to have this staying funded is very difficult right now. And being able to put money in a little bit at a time goes such a long way. For this arts campaign, I like to do the match because I've had multiple experiences where I hated work that week, I wanted to get back, and for those who know me, I travel a lot. And I try to, I'll take a 5 a.m. flight on a Sunday and be absolutely dead and downing a giant monster just to get through rehearsal and then crash that night. And that's really common for me, especially during football season. But that is my call, for this orchestra. Donate for the other people who need this. Donate for the community and for the people who use this every week as their escape, because at some point you might need it. And to have it here for that situation is why it exists.
David, thank you again for your leadership and your support. So it officially starts now. You can click on a link in your normal newsletters. You can go on our website, cfcarts.com/give. It will redirect you to the United Arts website because you have to designate your gift through United Arts for them to count it. If you just walk up here and hand me a wad of cash, I will say thank you, but it won't count towards that match. On Tuesday, you'll get an email because we're going to say all this stuff to the choir tomorrow night because they also have a $15,000 match put down in front of them as a challenge, and we'll kick it off with them tomorrow night, and then we'll see where we stand. We'll kind of update you every week. We appreciate any gift that you can make. Will go a long way. I am always very conflicted about it because if you know me, you probably know that my absolute least favorite part of my job is raising money. But my absolute most favorite part of my job is talking about you. And so when I get to do a lot of that, when I get to sit down with donors or sponsors or organizations in town and talk about how incredible you are and how remarkable this community is and how there is nothing else in this country like what is happening here at CFCArts and the stories of impact and life change and friendship and bonds that have been developed, I just love it. So that's what I do now. I don't directly ask for money, I just tell stories about you all and they end up hopefully giving in the end. So as David said, if you have the means, make a gift today in honor of somebody who's sitting in your section who you know really, really needs to continue to be in a room like this. Thank you. Tribute to John Williams.
If you can get through Star Wars, it's groovy from there. Jeremy, on that symphony, anticipate one. Good. 1, 2, 3, and...
I'm gonna abuse my relationship with you and keep you for 5 more minutes. I'm gonna give you all of next week off.